With the duck punt just about finished, the next job is to build a trailer so I can tow it around. Now I have acquired this little snipe trailer for not very much money. It was originally, I believe, for a jet ski, but the previous owner converted it, put a couple of bits of angle iron on it and converted it to carry a trials bike. Now the thing is, it's not really long enough. The duck punt is 4 meters 80, so a halfway point of that would be 2 meters 40. I really ideally need about just under 3 meters of length to safely carry the boat. Now it has got on it these little attachments, 4 of these on the frame, which I presume were some way of fixing the jet ski or rollers for the jet ski. So what I think I'll do is get some box section that will go in all of these and serve as a sort of an extension. I'll take these bits of angle iron off because they're not really doing anything, and I'll also move the axle right down to the back of the trailer to try and give me as much length as possible. That's the plan. We'll have to see how it goes. I think it needs some new mudguards as well. So I've undone the axle clamping bolts and slid it right back, and that's the sort of place where it needs to be to get a good balance, and that hopefully will just have enough weight on the tow bar to stop it tipping up backwards, but still be fairly well pivoted in the middle. Of course we won't really know until we put the boat on, but that's the plan. So with the axle off the trailer, I thought this would be an ideal opportunity to check the bearings. Wheels seem to turn fine, but I thought I'd just check the bearings and re-grease them. So much easier to do it while it's on the bench, locked in the vise, than scrabbling around on the floor. So I mean, the bearings look okay, but the grease has gone a really horrible mucky yellow colour, so there's obviously water got in there. This all needs cleaning out and changing. So bearings don't look too bad. The seal on this one is a bit broken, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. So I clean them up, grease them and put them back on again. And there we got 2 sets of bearings all cleaned up, not looking too bad. Some grease, some new split pins, and while I was at it I put a bit of spray paint on the wheels, make them look a little bit smarter. So for reassembly, it's just the usual messy way of doing this, trying to fill up the actual bearings with as much grease as possible, and the only way to do that is to use your hands. So the steel has finally arrived, and I've just laid it on the trailer here just as a mock-up to see the best way of doing this. Basically what I think I'm going to do is just make like a completely independent frame out of the steel and then just fix it onto the trailer using the little clamps and just bolt it through. That way it can be lifted off if you want to use the trailer for something else. Well, I think that's basically the idea, and so that'll just make a frame that'll support just over half of the boat. So although the boat will overhang quite a bit, it'll sit nicely on there, and then I think I might see if I can incorporate a roller or something on this very back rail, just as a guide to dragging it up onto the trailer. Maybe even, if I'm feeling very lazy, buy a very cheap winch and put it on the front just so I can wind it on, save my back. So that's the frame all welded up now. Welding's not fantastic. The metal's quite thin and I was having a few problems with it blowing holes, but it's all together and that's pretty strong. So now I've just got to see about bolting it onto the trailer frame. That's the frame on the trailer. Just got to finish off a couple more welds that need doing, like this one here, which I haven't done yet, and then it's a question of drilling through and bolting the whole thing down. But that should give enough of an extension now to support the boat quite nicely. Okay, so there it is, sitting on the trailer. Really pleased with the way it sits. It goes on there really nicely, and it's beautifully balanced. I'll be able to move that around, absolutely no problem at all. And yet there is a bit of weight on the drawbar just to stop it bouncing off. Now I know the hardcore duck punters like to just sort of lay down as they're sailing, and that's all very well, but with my back I really do need some kind of seat if I'm to last more than 5 minutes. So I thought I would use this kayak seat which I use in the little walnut dinghy, and I hung some little eyes on the side, all well and good. However, when I try to use it, it actually doesn't work at all. The supports are far too low, and it just sort of falls over and is dreadfully uncomfortable. So plan B involves a couple of bits of aluminium stuck in the holes for the thurl pins, and a piece of HDPE, or it could be LDPE. It's fairly flexible plastic, which I found a long time ago, and I've been waiting for a use for it. So I'm going to bolt that up to the bits of aluminium, and I'm going to try and put a bit of a curve in it as well. The thing is, with the pins just sitting in the holes, they'll be able to twist, so it'll be flexible and enable me to sort of lean on one side or the other without causing any great stress and breaking stuff. that's what it looks like. I've oversized the holes in the front and left the bolts fairly slack so that it can move around, and see if it fits. I think that's a fairly good solution, because it can bend and flex from hanging over this side or hanging over that side. Yeah, and that feels like it just gives enough support. Sitting on a cushion pad as well, I should be alright, I think. Yeah. It's all getting very exciting now to be actually sitting in the thing, even though I'm sitting in a garage on the trailer. It's exciting.